Morning again. I'm an idiot. I left everything like out last night, which was stupid because although it's not raining, it's one of them crappy, misty, wet, shitty days. It's 10:10 on Sunday morning, and I want to get as much of this done as possible. I probably say that every video, but last night I was formulating another plan. Originally, I was going to close all that off as my next step, but I'm not. I'm going to take this door off and fix that bit, because once that's fixed, I can still get access through here with my hand, hoover out the whole of that sill, paint it inside, just like shoot loads of paint in there, and the underside of these bits where they were welded, protect it all nicely. Then I could do the closing panel and this bit, well, that bit, and then the closing panel, and it should all be nice. So that's what I'm going to do. First job then, get this door off. Door is off. My super long extension came in handy. I didn't have that last time I did Rover doors, and it was a pain. So you have to reach a very long way. I actually bought that to do the gearbox on the V8S, which I took to the NEC Classic and Restoration show last year. Pointless comment, don't know why. Anyway, that's what I did yesterday, obviously. That I'm super happy with, because it all looks lovely. Door is off, and this is the bit I need to turn my attention to. All of this gets hidden by, I mean, that's why that is such dumb, like, to be pleased with that repair is totally pointless, because it gets hidden by a stainless steel trim piece, so you never see it. Plus, you only see it if you open the door and you look. So what a waste of time. Anyway, down here, what usually happens is water goes down the B pillar and then it sits on top of the sill in there and rusts it out. I don't think that's what's happened, because that is all perfect. So I'm going to get the strip and clean disc and clean this off, but I wouldn't mind betting that that's okay. And if that's the case, I'll be super relieved, because all I need to do is cut out a little section there, weld in a bit of profile, and I've got loads of bits of sill left over, so I can cut that out, weld it in, and we should be good. So strip and clean disc, which I absolutely love these things. The problem is if you use a flap wheel like the one on the left, it's very aggressive and you take metal away. When you're dealing with stuff like that that's only about 0.8, 0.9 mil, you lose a lot of thickness, and you know, what's the point? If you use one of these strip and clean discs, or clean and strip, it just takes the paint off, and they're really, really, really useful. If you catch an edge, they go and explode, so wear your goggles. But I love them. They're quite expensive though. Can't remember how much that one was, but well worth it in my opinion. So that is with the strip and clean disc. That top section is just water that's sat on the top. There is obviously that hole there, but actually I've changed what I was going to do. I kind of anticipated I was going to have to unpick that bit, chop all that out, but I'm not. I'm just going to cut and change this bit. That I'll just rub down, grind out, treat with hydrate 80. And then on the inside of these cars, you've got this hole here. So when it's finished and painted, I will just flood that with one of the creeping rust killers, like, well, use hydrate 80 to kill it, but then after that, Dynax, I think it's S50 or S52, which like it goes through capillary action and gets through things like this. So that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna clean that off, chop that bit out, make a patch, weld it in, normal process. That has been ground back and this bit chopped out, and the reassuring thing is that you've got loads of pitting on the outside surface. On the inside, it's actually pretty nice. So it just means that it's not rot developing this area behind, which is another reason it's good that that is so nice, because it's something has attacked it from the outside. So whether it's had a dent or something and then it was just gobbed with filler, I don't know. When I took that door off, I found more evidence of repairs to the door. So this car's definitely had work in the past, so I think that is just a remnant of that. So I'm going to use that as a template, chop out a piece, weld it in. I'm not going to bother doing, you know, little steps or anything because it's such a small area. I'm just going to butt weld it and then sand it smooth. Won't bother recording it because it's just me welding that in. But that's the patching, a couple of magnets holding it because I can't get clamps in there. Get the MIG welder, toss it on. That's in and done, all ground down smooth. It will want some filler. There's a slight blue there. Part of that is me heating that area, part of me is grinding, but that's mostly done. So I'm gonna go get some Hydrate 80 and paint that bit. In fact, I might grind that a bit more, get rid of that, and then more Bonder primer. Once again, I find myself regretting the decision not to change the whole sill. I thought it'd be a lot faster just to do these repairs, and now I'm regretting it. This hole here is always there. That is like a factory drain hole thing, and then it has a little metal plug in it. They quite often go frilly there purely because there's this big bowl to take the driver's seatbelt mount in the inner sill there, and that traps water underneath it and the sill, and they rust. But that ain't a big deal. What's annoying is water has collected there and rotted out this bit, so that's got to come out. The good news is the inner sill is perfect. That's all just the remains of cavity wax and my grindings, but that's all good. But yeah, we're gonna have to put a sheet in there. Again, I won't bother recording it. It's very boring, not particularly difficult. A bit of upside down welding, so I have to adjust the welder accordingly. But time consuming. Okay, it's taken a while, but that is my, excuse me, that is my patch for in there. Damn it, that balanced perfectly earlier. I'm tired of this car and this project. I have another car that I want to show you, but I kind of don't want to show you at the same time because it would get your hopes up on future viewing, and it might be a while to get around to doing it, but it's a cool car, let's tell you that. Right, let's try again. This fits perfectly in there, or it did. So I'll weld it in now. I'm going to also paint a bit more Hydrate 80 in there. That is all solid. That is made of boilerplate. You won't rot that out. Because it's another big low reinforcer plate thing. So we'll get that in there. Tired. See, I told you that fitted. So it's nice and level and flush. Now I just need to weld it in. That was some of the ugliest welding I've done for a while, but it's in and ground smooth. I'm going to go in and have some proper breakfast now. I've been at this an hour and 50 minutes, and all I've done is one patch there and one patch there, which is so slow. It's very, very, very frustrating, but after I've had some more food, I will come back and probably do that bit next. Then I can close off the rear and then probably do the floor. I might get that door off because I think there's a couple of bits of grub in there to sort as well. And that'll mean putting the car on the ground. Right, where was I? I put red oxide on those bits. I chopped out a bit more up here, and then I started making a repair panel to go in here, and basically this would have been the original inner wing. Is it a wing? Yeah, I guess it is. Would have come down onto here. It would have been spot welded in the factory along there, same as this. It basically looks like the opposite of that, and there's a distinctive fold in it there, and we can see that on bollocks. This one here. So basically I'm remaking that bit. I could have tried to make it all in one piece, but to bend that bit in two directions at the same time is a bit of a non-starter for me. So I'm doing it in two pieces. So that's all ready to go in. I've left a little return on the back end there so that when I make this little closing piece, that'll sit in neatly. I'm not looking forward to doing that because it's going to be very difficult to access and clean that up because you can't get in there with a grinding disc. So I don't know quite how I'm going to do that yet. What I might do, seam weld along there, do those plug welds. That's incidentally why I didn't put one right in the back there, because I'd never be able to get to it to dress it. When this goes on, I can weld along there nicely. I'll spot weld onto that, and then it'll just be that little seam there which will be problematic. And I might put a little stitch in the bottom there, and then I'll just have to get a die grinder on it at some point. Then I can weld a strip onto there, and then that will tie this all together, and then it's just make the closing panels. I did also toss a whole load more red paint in there, reached all the way along with my paintbrush, and I actually had it so soaked, oh, and the top side as well up there, had it so soaked in red it was dribbling out on the floor. But it'll hold it all together hopefully. Right, so weld that in, make a piece here, make that little piece, strip down there, closing panel, bish bash bosh. Well, after the horror show that was the welding under there, I've redeemed myself. That looks really nice. These ones I can grind down with the tip of a grinding disc end on. That I can sand off nicely. It's just going to be that little bit there. Next I'm going to fabricate just a closing panel to come along there. It'll be plug welded onto there, and then just a stitch along there. Shame you can't just do it in cardboard. I forgot there's a little, it needs to have a little step in it at one end but smooth out at the other, so I'll probably beat that into it after I've put the return in. I'll just hammer it over the edge of a table or something. That's in there, plug welded. I hammered a bit of a step in there. You won't see it, it gets covered by a stainless steel trim, so I've just got to do that bit. Before I do that bit, I am going to grind that smooth as well, as smooth as I can get it. Yep. Alright, that's in and done. It's rubbed down as much as I can do. There's a bit in there I just can't get to, so I'm going to close that off, and then I'll just have to ask the body shop or find a tool to get in there and dress that. This will all need a tiny skim of filler anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Now to make that little bit there, shame I don't have the door on anymore, but I guess it'll just go down to there. It's a surprising amount of work to go to make one little infill piece. But basically, I can't even hold it right because it's that tiddly. I've just rolled the bottom edge over, that'll sit down there. That I'll put a plug weld hole in and weld that in too. I rolled that bottom edge so I've got a radius same as that, because that'll be, you know, ultimately that'll have a little bit of seam sealer or panel bond or whatever through there to keep it nice and original looking. Happy with that. It's worked out really nice. Got a nice straight-ish line there. By the time that's got seam sealer in it, you'll never see it. Just the frustration of not being able to get in there. I broke my finger sander, so that's what I could have used if I hadn't have damaged it. I've actually burnt the end of my fingernail, which is quite impressive and quite painful. Right, next bit. Might have noticed a pattern here, me just getting on with stuff, putting a piece in back there, and then that's that bit closed off. Right, what I've done is put that piece in there, and then I've welded the sill to that piece so it's strong, but I've left a gap in there for the seam sealer so it looks original. And then on the back I've tack welded again the bottom return of that to the sill. So now I need to figure out how to sort that out. I do have these. I can't remember whether I showed these in a previous video. Hold on 1 second. Turn off my little radio. Be quiet, little radio. There we go. Yes, so this is the bottom of an inner arch that somebody chopped up and then gave me very kindly when I bought another car. What I might do is just use that for speed. Then that forms this channel in here, adds a bit of strength, and it will just look OEM and new. But once again, I probably won't film much of this because I just need to get the fucking thing done. How good does that look? It's excellent. So I've got the proper watery rainy channel thing running down inside there. That's closed off neatly. All I need to do is then make a little patch which goes from there, hammers up onto here. Up. So to fill in that bit. I need to go and get my drill to drill some plug weld holes to pick up on this, and then the rest of it can just be seam welded on. That's in. Looks like that. I probably will throw another plug weld through there to hold it to the sill, but I'm gonna now make my little infill panel. I left that return on, and then I'm just gonna weld a little plate in. There is like a slight indentation line, so I might join it there so it looks more factory. Totally pointless because it's all hidden under the car, but never mind. Just thrown a plug weld in there to hold the sill on, so that's just starting to burn through, which is nice. That's my closing panel, and it's going to be one of those weld and beat type jobs because it's difficult to get exactly the right angle off the car, so I might start welding it and then just smash it with the A hammer, probably that one because it's to hand, to push it into that well and then snot it in there. Right, got the football on again, turn that down. United Leeds, or Leeds United. That's in. I had to go and check another car to remember what happens here, but basically that stays open. It's like a rain channel, so water can hit the wheel well, run down. If I close that off and seal it, then water will just collect there, so I'm going to get the saw and just cut through there. But yeah, that is all welded in, looking pretty good. And really, that I think is the end of all of the structural neat welding on the car. So that's quite exciting. The only things that need to be done now are the floor. That area there is probably the worst bit, tidying up other bits over there. That's all structural because I fixed it all. It's all done. It just needs tidying up and a few of the detail things. But yeah, I think we are mostly there. I think there's a couple of bits to do down there somewhere and the bottom of that B pillar, but they're all like little jobs. I'm still way behind my own like schedule. I really wanted this done ages ago, but you know, stuff happens. That is a good place to leave it. Done quite a lot this weekend. It's Sunday afternoon about 3 o'clock, something like that, so I'm gonna go in and watch TV and chill out for a bit. I've just spotted another bit up there I'm not really happy with, so that might have to be picked open, so I haven't finished quite here. Obviously all of this needs grinding. Take that door off, do that bit, do the floor, and really I would love to have all of this done by next weekend, but we shall see. Right, bye bye.